the spiritual master. Ajnānatimarandhasya jnānāñjana-śalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurau Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so which verse are we doing today from Bhagavad Gita?
7.9.
Very nice. And what we did do last time? What we did do in last time?
29.
7.8.
Yeah, but what would we do in 7.8? That's the question.
So the verse tells us about Krishna, how Krishna is present and is all pervasive, like in the sun, the moon, the water, and
So he is
by
in
both
God
his energies, like material energy
Vedic
and
mantras.
spiritual.
Yeah. So let's see, get a list
Taste
of
of
where all these
water,
things.
light of the sun and the moon, the syllabus of Om, Omkaram, Vedic mantras, and he is the sound, everything.
Vedic mantras means what? How is it
Om.
manifested in
Om in the Vedic mantra.
No, not Om is not the Vedic mantra by itself, but all the Vedic mantras start with the letter Om, with the word Om, right?
It's a Omkara.
Sarva-bhūteṣu. So in all the Vedas, I am that letter. When you recite the Vedic
Om,
shloka,
Om, yes.
right? Om Tad Vishnu, right? Like that. So,
Yeah.
all right. And then what else?
Sound and ether ability in man.
Yeah. So ability in man. So how many are there? Count wise. How many things are there in 7.8? Rasoham apsu konteya. Prabhasmi.
Yeah. That is the one.
Pranava sarva
Prabhasmi.
Shabdake. Purusham Rishu. How many?
Taste of water, light, sun and moon, and Omkar with all the mantras.
Six,
and sound,
Six?
And five, no?
Okay, so is it 5 or is it 6? How are we counting?
I am counting 5. Because
How?
taste of water, sun and moon, I counted 1.
Yeah, I think that's the difference.
That's it.
Why? And why do you have to count them too? Because they're different, right? Light from the sun, yes?
But they both give, the light of the sun and moon.
Yeah, but the light from the sun and moon is different.
That's why I counted
the light
1.
from the sun is very, light from the moon is very soothing, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. Light from the sun is not necessarily
Moonlight.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Bhaktin Yugal. Happy to see you here.
Mataji.
Okay, so now let's get serious and go into 7.9 here. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Okay, 7.9 will be continuing on with Krishna describing with more varieties. Puṇyo gandhaḥ pṛthivyāṁ ca tejaś cāsmi vibhāvasau jīvanam sarva-bhūteṣu tapaś cāsmi tapasviṣu. puṇyo gandhaḥ pṛthivyāṁ ca tejaś cāsmi vibhāvasau jīvanam sarva-bhūteṣu tapaś tapasviṣu. Puṇyaḥ. Puṇya means original. Puṇya is original. And this is another meaning of when we speak in Hindi, Puṇya means
Punya means what is
Pure.
that? Huh?
Isn't it pure?
Pure.
No.
Yeah.
Puṇya.
No. But
Kirtanah.
sin opposite punya. For sin is papa.
And Puṇya. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Punya.
Like, so you've been hearing different things, right? So like if we go to
Yeah, this is different.
right? 2:1
This
to
is original.
2:16. So say, Sushushu Shraddha-dhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahatsevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. Right?
Yeah.
The Punya word is also described here in this particular verse, divinity and divine service. Punya Tirtha, those who are cleansed of all vice. So Punya also is like, goodness, cleanliness, Punya ke karya, like that.
Virtuous.
Yeah, so it means so many things, but here in this particular verse, it means original.
Original.
Okay, and gandhaḥ is fragrance.
Fragrance.
Pṛthivyāṁ.
Earth.
Pṛthivyāṁ is in the earth.
Earth.
Cha also, tejaḥ heat. Cha also, asmi I am. Vibhāvasau in the fire. Jīvanam life. Sarva in all. Bhūteṣu living entities. Tapaḥ penance. Cha also, asmi I am. Tapasviṣu in those who practice penance. So how many are we counting here? Puṇya gandhaḥ pṛthivyāṁ ca. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. So
four of them.
Four.
Last time, how many did we count?
6.
6 plus 4 is?
6 and 4.
And how much?
10.
10. Okay, so we are counting till 10 here. 7.1. Okay, so before I go deeper into it, I also wanted that today is the auspicious month. We are in the auspicious month of Kartik. And just wanted all of us together to recite from 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And we'll do the translations for all the verses here. Okay, so I will just bring the verses up here. And
knowledge of absolute.
Mataji, we should be on mute or?
No, read together.
Okay.
Yeah. No, okay. Just give me a second. This is easy for you to read like that. Okay. So let's get started. Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Text number 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now here, come on, everybody read together, but at the same speed, right? Now here, O son of Pṛthivyāṁ, how by
practicing yoga
in full
consciousness of me,
with mind attached
to me,
know me
you
in
can
full,
know me
free
in
from
full,
doubt.
free from doubt.
Okay, let's do 5 each. That might be much better to hear, right?
Yeah,
Let me do the 5 now, and then we'll pass. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Out of the many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, altogether these 8 constitute my separated material energies. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Now, next who came today was Vindhyavali Mataji. Okay, read the next 5, please. 6, 7, 8, 9.
All created beings have their source in these 2 natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and the dissolution. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung in a thread. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllabus Om, in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penance of all ascetics. Hare Krishna.
One more.
I can see one more. 10. O son of O son of Pṛtha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the powers of all powerful men.
Prowess. Prowess of all powerful men.
Oh, prowess, I'm sorry.
Prowess, no problem. Yeah. Then the Sukumal.
I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. Deluded by the three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Okay, Varshanamati.
Yes, Mother. O best among the Bharatas. O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desire of wealth, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is best, for I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. Knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is, such a great soul is very rare. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations for worship according to their own natures. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Garima, are you in a position to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtain his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Men of such an intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kṛṣṇa, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for reading. Mata Sangini?
Mataji, I am here.
Oh, Sutapa,
That's
sorry.
what I was about to tell. Mataji Sutapa is looking at you.
I can see Sudapa, thank God.
Oh, you cannot see?
I cannot see because I'm sharing the screen, right? So I can only see the
Oh,
screen.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. That is why. She's looking.
So I was just speaking from memory that who all I saw in the beginning.
Okay, go ahead, Sutapa Mataji, you read first.
Thank you, Mataji. Oh, Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. O Shayan of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and all of methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's go to 7.9. And Madhav Sangini Mataji, start reading the translation and purport, please.
I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Should I read the purport?
Yes.
Yeah. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Puṇya means that which is not decomposed. Puṇya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance, as the flavor and fragrance in the flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything is Kṛṣṇa. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste.
Vibhāvasu.
Vibhāvasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Kṛṣṇa. The heat in the fire is Kṛṣṇa. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Kṛṣṇa consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Kṛṣṇa. The duration of man's life is also due to Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, by the grace of Kṛṣṇa, man can prolong his life or diminish. Oh, I cannot see the rest of the line.
Nothing.
Or diminish it. So Kṛṣṇa consciousness is active in every sphere.
This one is very good.
Okay, so let's then discuss what we read so far. Anything that struck your mind?
Here in the last one, Mataji, he says the what is it? That what this one? What chapter? What text is that? He says he is man's life. He is. So what about women?
Okay, now let's not have that conversation in this call.
No, I'm
Krishna
asking
is
you.
everywhere, he is in
I'm
everything,
asking
like
you, we are
flower,
including.
fragrance.
What did you say, Sudapa?
No. Shraddha Mataji asked so the question, so I am
That's why I
giving
asked.
the answer.
No, it's not a different diversion. I'm just asking when he says he's a man. So what about women? Is he in our lives also like that or what?
Are you asking that question now?
Yeah.
So late?
Yes. Yes. He is everywhere. He is in everything.
No, that I know he's in everything. But last one, he specifies man's life. That's why I'm asking, Mataji.
Do you think there is prowess in your life?
Huh?
What? Do you think there is prowess in your life?
I don't know.
This means it's not this, right?
It's not there.
No. So usually prowess is associated with Kshatriya type of behavior, bravery in battle and things like that.
Oh, that is not there.
Do that, right?
I don't have that.
Yeah, and later on he will say, right? In women, I am fine speech, I am fame, memory, right? So he's associating those things,
Yeah. Okay.
right? But that doesn't mean that you will not have prowess. Women can be brave, and Girani, right, had a lot of prowess.
Got it.
So yeah, so don't go too much about the gender, because
no, too much I'm not going.
Yeah, it's a bodily concept of life.
Yeah,
that's prowess. Yeah, animals also have prowess, right?
And mainly in all these chapters, he is in everywhere. You see, he says, "Water I am, and fire I am. Without fire we cannot live. Without water we cannot live." And in our belly also, he says, "I am there." In our body also, we have that water, ether, and then fire, and everything. Those 5 things we have in the body also, because that's why he says without digestion, without heat, we cannot have digestion.
Right. And tell me which verse from Bhagavad Gita talks about that. Other than
7th chapter only. Just now we read, no?
No, I'm talking about a verse. We read in the purport.
That
you all should know. You know.
I know. Just now we read, but
okay, I will give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. Okay.
Okay.
So digestion. Okay. If you're only drinking milk and then you start eating chapatis, you need a little bit more digestion. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So something has to do with digestion and eating chapatis versus eating milk. Starting to eat chapatis. What is that ceremony called?
Annaprashan.
Annaprashan, or first grain ceremony. Okay.
Grain ceremony.
What chapter of Bhagavad Gita you recite there? 15. So the answer lies in chapter 15. Because the child is just about to now, who has been just drinking milk, is now about to start eating grains which are difficult to digest. So in 15:14, he says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva.
Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamasita Pranapana Samayuktam Pachamannam Chaturvidam.
I told you, you know it. You all know it. Right? You all recite it.
Usually every day I do that.
Right? So he's saying that he's talking about the fire of digestion. Of course, Srila Prabhupada has listed so many good qualities of fire, right?
Yeah.
So it's, and also one of the things is that without fire, you cannot do fire sacrifice, yajna.
That's true.
Not be done. Apart from just eating, running factories and things like that, rockets everywhere, there's fire, there's fire of digestion also, which helps you do that with fire. And then, so he's saying that, so how does he equate himself with fire? What is it about fire, he says? He's what in the fire?
Heat.
He's the heat of the fire, right? So, interesting thing, if we compare this with the previous verse, where he was saying, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Light from the sun, right? Now, do you get heat from the sun?
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
Right? But in that verse, he's not focusing on the heat coming from the sun, because sun gives you light and heat, but sun is more known for giving light, because there are some places in the world where you get sunlight, but you don't get heat. Right? Morning, evening, right? Or even in the winters, we also experience that not sun
Nowadays
vibhāvasau,
we're not getting.
and all that kind of stuff. So they also so for the as far as the sun is concerned, Kṛṣṇa took one quality of the sun, although it has two qualities, right? It gives light and gives heat, but he only focused on the light there. And in the next verse, he's talking about fire. And then, of course, we know sun is a ball of fire, right? So light and heat is coming from there. He's focused on the fire part of it, right? And not only that, I mean, sometimes people also talk like, I'm very fired up. I'm going to memorize the whole 7th chapter. I'm very fired up, right? So there is fire that boosts, like just like in a rocket, you know, there is a combustion, the material, right? And they put fire to the rocket and the rocket is launched, right? And goes to its destination. So sometimes we also say that we are very fired up. So that fired up is coming from
Kṛṣṇa.
Kṛṣṇa, right? That is something, and I had mentioned at great length last time that we should not, whenever we see all these good things, now that we know from where all these good qualities come, then we should not feel envious. Actually, we should just admire. So at a certain point in time, your relationship with Kṛṣṇa evolves to such a level that anything that touches Kṛṣṇa and has anything to do with Kṛṣṇa, we start admiring it. Even it could be some other devotee who's better than us in devotional service. It could be somebody who's better than us in anything, right? Anything that we do, maybe cooks better, sings better, dresses better, looks better, whatever, right? So then we just tend to appreciate. And the good thing that happens is that when you start appreciating a good quality in others, those good qualities come to you. They will come, you will also inhabit just because you were appreciating it. So it comes, so that's the nature, how it works here. So we should always be in an appreciative mood and we should not be criticizing. The more we criticize, then we will just sit down in that, you know, in that pool and just swim in the pool of misery. Like that, so to say. So he's talking about that I am the light in the fire, right? And light in the sun, and then heat from the fire. And then there's, we also talked that there is fire of digestion. Okay. So then, what else is he saying in this verse?
I like the one where it says, I'm the fragrance of the earth.
He said the fragrance of the earth, right? And he always, Vaisheshika Prabhu was also talking last time about how about this puṇyo gandhaḥ pṛthivyāṁ cha.
క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతాను.
And he was also talking about
క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను మళ్ళీ మాట్లాడతాను.
So so Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying, talking about you know, the smell of
Fragrance of the earth.
The fragrance of the earth, and he was that, you know, how after the first rains, you know, you get such a good smell, and we do like this smell, right? Now, very interesting thing about smell, and why he's saying that, you know, originally, so smell comes from earth. That is the originality of it, right? So we have to understand this part. The smell comes from earth. That's the originality, right? And similarly, as sound comes from, we read that last time. Sound comes from
Ether,
right? You read that, right? Shabda, K, right? Shabda, K. Shabda is sound, K means ether, right? So Shabda K, Paurisham Rishiyu. And so, so he's talking about a sound. Sound comes there of K, and in this verse he's talking about 7.9. Welcome, Shirley Mataji. That I am the original. So he's talking about the original thing, right? Like the original sound in ether. Similarly, he's talking, Puṇya is original. I'm talking about the original smell in the earth, right? It's the original smell which is there. Now the smell can get mixed with this and that and can start smelling differently, but there's an original smell, right? So now think of this situation, okay? Give me the name of a seed of some very nice smelling flower.
Mataji, seed or only the flower?
Flower, yeah.
Jasmine.
So jasmine, you grow from flowers, I'm assuming? Okay. Now, if you take any seed, seed of any nice flower that, you know, that you put the seeds and they grow, they have a nice smell. And if you just press the seed like that in between your fingers, right? And then you smell it, are you going to get a good smell?
No.
Right? Okay. Then, so remember that the smell is not coming from the seed. So we take the seed and we put it in the earth. Okay. After we put it in the earth, we also put water. Right?
Yeah.
And does the water have a smell of its own?
No.
No. Right? Because what does water have? Rasoham apsukanteya. Previous verse, right? Taste of water, right? So water tastes but doesn't have any smell. Right? And it's transparent, doesn't have any color. So rasoham apsukanteya prabhasmi susu. So now you are taking a seed which doesn't apparently smell very good. You put it into earth and you put some water in it, which also doesn't smell good. And then from the earth, this plant grows, and from the plant, the flower blossoms, and it is very good smell. From where is it getting that smell? It is coming from the earth.
Kṛṣṇa.
Right? Coming from the earth. So we have to that original smell. Kṛṣṇa is saying that I am that. And I had talked about last time about pantheism. Right? Pantheism was when you see God everywhere.
Yeah.
Pan means all comparing. And I had given the example of zooming, right? Zooming and then panning, right? So pan is when you move back, so you see the whole picture. Zooming is you come close, you see very little. So zooming and panning. So pantheism is like when you are trying to see God everywhere. So he's telling you that, panthavat is go we say in Hindi. So what he's saying is that if you if you want to look at Kṛṣṇa and find Kṛṣṇa everywhere, then this is how you can find it. I am the smell in the earth. So next time you see a nice flower, good smell, and you think, from where is the good smell coming? It's not coming from the water. It's certainly not coming from the chemicals that you put, but definitely it comes from the earth. So he's saying, puṇyo gandhaḥ pṛthivyāṁ. I am the original scent of the earth, right? What else does he say?
Mataji, I like this one, like the duration of man's life, only the man's life, or
that is what
all,
I asked the question.
No. Like also due to Kṛṣṇa. So that's what I like this one, because like if Kṛṣṇa were, then we can live or no.
Yeah, Rakhi Kṛṣṇa, Mare ke Kṛṣṇa.
Mare Kṛṣṇa, Rakhe ke.
Rakhe ke, right? So at least for death, and the birth also, both of them, that if Kṛṣṇa is not there and not agreeing, then you cannot. And what do the scientists believe? How birth? They do not associate the soul with the matter. And they do not associate that birth happens because the soul enters the body, right? But if you look at our Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 31st chapter, the movement of living entities, in the very first verse, and let me bring up that verse for you here. It's very nice, and then you will know what Kṛṣṇa is.
What text, Mataji? 3rd canto?
I'm just going to bring that up. You can see it here.
Karma Daiva Netrena.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So this is Kapil Dev telling his mom, Devavati. Hold on. Yeah, hold on, Mataji, a little bit. Yeah. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Karmana Daiva Netrena Jantur Deho Papatyaye Sriya Praveshta Udaram Pumsoreta Kanashrayaha. And what he's saying is the personality of Godhead, which I was saying is Kapil Dev explaining to his mother, Devahuti, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. And the interesting thing is that all this happens under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. And he has to grant a yes or a no before you can have a particular type of body. The fetus can develop. Okay? So then in the purport is saying, as stated in the last chapter, after suffering different kinds of hellish conditions, a man comes again to the human form of body. The same topic is continued in this chapter. In order to give a particular type of human form to a person who has already suffered hellish life, the soul is transferred to the semen of a man who is just suitable to become his father. During sexual intercourse, the soul is transferred to the semen of the father into the mother's womb in order to produce a particular type of body. This process is applicable to all embodied living entities, but it is specially mentioned for the man who was transferred to the Amdhatamishra hell. This is one type of a hell described in 5th canto of Bhagavatam. After suffering there, when he who has had many types of hellish bodies, like those of dogs and hawks, is to come again to the human form, he is given the chance to take his birth in the same type of body from which he degraded himself to hell. Everything is done by the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Material nature supplies the body, but it does so under the direction of the Super Soul. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that a living entity is wandering in this material world on a chariot made by material nature. The Supreme Lord as a Super Soul is always present with the individual soul. He directs material nature to supply a particular type of body to the individual soul according to the result of his work, and the material nature supplies it. Here, one word, reta kanashraya, is very significant because it indicates that it is not the semen of the man that creates life within the womb of a woman. Rather, the living entity, kana, the living entity, the soul, takes shelter in a particle of semen and is then pushed into the womb of a woman. Then the body develops. There is no possibility of creating a living entity without the presence of the soul simply by sexual intercourse. The materialistic theory that there is no soul and that the child is born simply by material combination of the sperm and the ovum is not very feasible. And Prabhupada gives the verdict and he says that it is not acceptable. Period. Right? So now when in today's verse, what is he saying? I'm the life, right? So without Krishna's permission, without Krishna's intervention, people, there can be no life. Life cannot be created. Krishna creates us, and then we are all coming from Krishna's souls, right? Mame vansho, jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana. Right? Okay. Then what does he also talk about that? So about life, right? So we said, okay, so we talked about two things about life. One is creation of life and one is dissolution of life, right? So creation we just saw, right? That under the Deva Netrena. So it happens under the supervision of the Lord that this birth happens. Then death, right? So death also happens under the supervision of Lord and by the permission of the Lord. And that's why I was saying that Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, right? Now, sometimes there's an epidemic, right? And the doctor gives medicines to everybody. And some people live, some people die. Why? All of them took the same medicine, right? They could be from the same family also, but some die, some don't. We had the COVID, huge COVID pandemic, right? Some lived, some died. Same family. Like that. So all this death also happens. And then Prahlad Maharaj prayers is very wise, and he prays in the 7th canto, 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 19, which is Sukhereshwari Mataji's favorite verse. And I'm going to bring that here momentarily.
Mataji?
Who is that?
Shirley.
Hey, Shirley, go ahead.
Hi, which book are you in?
I'm actually, I'm teaching. That's a good question.
In Bhagavad Gita.
I'm teaching from Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, verse number 9. But what I'm doing is, as I'm trying to explain, I'm bringing up other scriptures as well. Primarily, either I'm jumping to Bhagavad Gita or I'm jumping to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay.
So right now I'm in I'm going to bring up a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's chapter number 9, and the verse will be 19. And so, which again talks about the topic that I was saying, that life comes from Krishna only, right?
Right.
So yeah, so here Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nirsingha nartasya cha gadamudanvati majjato nao taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanjaseshtas tavad vibhotanubhritam tvat upekshitanam. So what does that mean? He's saying, my Lord Narsimha Dev, Prahlad is saying, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and never cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child. A physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot drown or cannot protect a drowning man.
Okay.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Mataji. So, Mataji, if we pray, so somebody is suffering, so that prayers help, right? Because devotees prayers all the time. So that means that he has to live more, the person has to live like more days.
And the prayers impact whom? When you're praying, where is the impact going? Who is getting pleased by your prayers?
Kṛṣṇa.
Kṛṣṇa, right? And so that is the essence here. That a person is going to live or die depends on Kṛṣṇa. And because we know that, so we are now praying to Kṛṣṇa that Kṛṣṇa, please take care of this patient. We don't want this patient to leave soon. Right?
Oh.
So that's how the connection is happening. That death or birth or death are all in the hands of Kṛṣṇa only. Otherwise, you see, I mean, how much Hiranyakashipu tried, what kind of things Hiranyakashipu tried to do to Prahlad Maharaj. Tell us, Varshana Mataji, you raise your hand.
Yes, Mataji, I was just thinking that it is, even if we pray for, the other day, you see, my sister-in-law, she's going through some very tough times, and she went to some Panditji, some Jyotishi, and he told her to do this, all that. And I was just telling her, you pray to Lord Narasimha. And one very good thing that Jyotish told her, that you pray to the God, and this is the prayer you have to do. And she said, you pray, and we will. That they know, if I eat, I get it. If he has to pray, you have to pray, then only you will get it. Otherwise, you will not get it. Even if the patient, if is in the hospital, it's very important that he should be inclined towards it to say the prayer. And if he says it is much more beneficial than others praying. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, a good point. And there are two aspects to looking at it, right? Two aspects is, one is that he wants to pray, but he cannot because he's in ICU or she is in ICU, right? So then someone else has to pray. That's one condition, right? Second condition is that the prayers of advanced Vaishnavas are very, very powerful. So that's why people go to their spiritual master and say, please pray for me. What's the reason they're saying, please pray for me? Because they know I am no good at praying. Please, but you are an exalted Vaishnava. So can you please pray for me? Because God will listen to you, right? That's what siblings do, right? They will find out the one who's the favorite of the father or the mother, and they'll say, okay, you go and ask. Let's go and you go and ask, right?
Yeah, that's
Like
a
that.
very nice point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Once I remember my sister came to visit me when I was back in India. My sister came to visit me, and my daughter was small, I think 4 or something like that. And and she and her friend, so they wanted to go and watch some movie. I'm forgetting the name of the movie, but obviously they couldn't go alone. They wanted they needed adult to go with them, so that would be me. But they knew that they had somehow they thought that if they ask me that they want to go to a movie, that I will say no. I don't know why they thought about that, but anyway, they thought like that. So what they did was they took my daughter and then convinced her that she should watch the movie. And I was sleeping in the afternoon, and when I woke up, my daughter says, Mom, I want to go and watch the movie. So I said, okay, we'll go. And then I told my sister and her friend, okay, let's go. And then they told me this whole, scheming and planning that they had done. So people do that. If you know who has got the power to convince Kṛṣṇa, so they will say. And that's why sometimes we also say that you should pray to Radha Rani and don't pray directly to Kṛṣṇa, because Radha will put in a good word for you. And like they say that Kṛṣṇa likes what Radha does, and Kṛṣṇa does what Radha likes. All that you have to do is to make sure that Radha likes whatever we like by praying to her and by keeping her, by making her happy, like that. So, okay, what more things were being discussed here? So we talked
Mataji, the duration of life.
The duration, right? So then, so I was asking that. Look at Prahlad's example, right? all kinds of things. How there were so many ways in which he was trying to kill him, right?
You said you will show some other sloka in Bhagavatam. Is that
Yeah,
right?
she showed us.
So
She
she
showed
showed
us.
already.
yeah, Shraddha Mataji showed.
Yeah, right. So parents cannot protect a child. Balasya neha pitaram. So right. So I mean, imagine throwing somebody from the top of a cliff, a 5-year-old boy, destined to die, does not die. Right? Krishna is
Yes,
saving him,
Mataji.
right? Krishna
I
saved him.
have a life experience of this, Mataji.
There you go.
Yes, Mataji,
Yeah.
I also want to share. Let Varshana Mataji speak first.
Okay, let's share. How Krishna saved you.
Mataji, one officer, he had a daughter and she was sitting in the jeep, and he had to go to the bank. He went to the bank, and since it was in Joshimat hilly area, so there was a, you see, slope. The jeep could have gone down. So they had put the stone after the wheel, you see, behind the wheel, so that it cannot. But somehow what happened, you see, this, it started, I mean, the jeep started running. Now, the child was only in the jeep. The driver was standing out and he could not catch hold of that because it was in such a speed. The girl fell down, and there is a Nrsimha temple down, Mataji, there. And this girl fell down, there is a tree, and she got stuck in the tree, Mataji. Nothing happened to the child. She was 5 years old child. This happened, Mataji. We were there. I mean, it happened in front of us, Mataji. So, Kṛṣṇa really, if he wants to save you, he can really save you.
Yeah, so Tapa, thank you.
Mataji, this is a very personal thing. I don't know whether I should speak on Facebook.
Then you should not. If you have a doubt, then don't. Right? What if it has a bad impact? Okay, so
Yeah,
we'll ask
but
that.
I'm just telling the gist. Like last couple of months, I was suffering of something from something. So I prayed Kṛṣṇa that you should recover from that and do miracle. Please, please, please do some miracle. And Mataji, it happened. It just happened.
Yeah. And when these things happen, then your faith in Krishna increases even more. Right?
Yes, Mataji.
That's that, right? Right. And I'm going to tell you of some situations where if death is destined, then death will happen. If Krishna has decided to kill somebody, then that will happen. And so there was this meeting that was happening where Vishnu had called all the demigods, and they were having a meeting. And so Garuda, of course, he's a carrier of Vishnu, right? So he came flying with Vishnu and landed there. And then as all the demigods were coming, Yamraj also was entering into that assembly hall. And outside on a tree, there was a bird that was chirping, nicely. So the Yamraj just looked at that bird and then went inside. So Garuda standing outside says that, oh, Yamraj looking at somebody. I think the Yamraj is going to kill this bird. And he was like, no, because Garuda is a bird, right? So he has a soft corner for birds. He says, I'm going to save this bird. So he said, okay, now the meeting is going to happen for 4 or 5 hours. So let me just take this bird. And he flew, thousands of miles with the bird. And then he went and kept the bird on a stone, which was in the middle of a river. He said, like, he can't come that fast because Garuda flies very fast. So Yamaraj won't be able to cover all that, right? And then he comes, he comes back. And then after the meeting is over, then he meets, Yamraj is coming back. And then Garuda tells this story to Yamraj. And he says, today I saw you do that. And I saved the bird. And then Yamraj looked at him and said, oh, what did you do? So he said, oh, I flew like, 20,000 miles or wherever. And I put the bird in the middle of a river with on top of a stone. And so, because I saw you look at the bird. So then Yamaraj said, oh, when I saw the bird, I was like, oh, this bird is destined to die. And what is the bird doing here? Because she's destined to die 20,000 miles away from here. And she's such a small bird, she can't fly. So, and then of course, in the middle of the stone, a snake came out of the water and, ate the bird. So both the thing, it works both ways, no matter how hard we try, right? And Prabhupada also says so many times that there was a businessman, right? He was begging the doctor, "Just give me 6 more months of my life because I want to take care of all the factories that are run." And the doctor said, "I can't." Can the doctors give life? No. They will just tell 7 more days and that's it, precisely gone. They cannot do
So that bird died?
Yeah.
Now you want to cry?
Yes, the snake came from the
Oh
water.
God.
Right? So, so this verse is again saying that, I am life, right? I'm the life of all that lives. He's the life. And if the life goes, then life goes like that, right? And what is one more thing that he's saying in this verse?
I'm the penance
Penance of all
of
this.
all ascetics.
Yeah. So give me some example of penances.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good for 500 points. So what was the penance he was doing or the austerity?
Every month he was changing. You see, first he was having some fruits, then he stopped, then started having water, then that stopped. Then when he was doing it on one leg, standing on one leg and praying to the Lord, and when he stopped taking air also, stopped breathing also, then the demigods got scared and then they ran to Lord Shri, to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji went to Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah. Right? So this is austerity, penances, right? And so can everybody do that? Let's, Dhruv was a very exalted example, but let's talk about a few little austerities that come our way in our daily lives. Any austerity?
Ekadashi.
Ekadashi, thank you. Okay,
And
Ekadashi.
then even in Damodar month we can do, because it's the holiest month, we can do some austerities.
Some austerity, right? Now everybody is able to do that austerity? Don't
No,
eat.
whatever they want. Actually, it should be what you like the most is what you leave for
Yes,
1
and
month.
everybody is able to do that?
No.
No,
But
no, Mataji.
Right? So that ability to do austerity comes from Kṛṣṇa.
I did
I also did too this
when
time.
I went to Banaras, they say, whatever your favorite, you leave it there. So I left one vegetable, one fruit, like that. But I don't feel, even when I see that also, other people are eating, making in the house, I don't have any feeling at all. Oh, I forgot, I left this one, okay, I taste will be there, like that. I don't have the feeling at all.
Yes.
Totally.
Right. And so when we take these kind of austere measures and we take these vows, etc., right, which are very hard and very strict, we have to also keep certain other things in mind that don't get too much attached to the vow also. As Vaishika Prabhu was saying that our Sudama was too attached to being not attached. He was too attached to being detached and like, I like being poor. And that's why when he went to meet him, Kṛṣṇa did not give him anything in return. Although his wife had told, like, your friend is so rich, you go there. But then, of course, when he comes back home, he
He
says,
sees his whole palace.
Whole palace. And it's like, okay, you take what you take. So sometimes, like, if we give up something like, okay, I'm not going to eat mangoes. I'm not saying that. And then there's mangoes in prasadam.
But I just don't feel at all,
That,
Mataji.
so not really. And that's what I'm saying, Vindhyavali Mataji. That's exactly what I'm trying to say, that one thing is that, okay, you are at one level where you're saying, I'm not eating mangoes. And so we get attached to the fact that, you know what, I don't even feel like it. Yeah, you can eat one mound of mangoes in front of me. I'm not feeling bad about it. But the real test comes when somebody comes and offers and say, hey, this mango is from Govardhan. Now what will you do?
Prasad means I feel like eating.
Yeah, prasade sarva-bhūteṣu hani. So I'm saying at that time, a person can, two choices, right? One is that I have a vow, I won't eat prasadam. And the other is I'm willing to break the vow because this is food that is Kṛṣṇa has eaten.
I can eat some other prasadam. I can eat some other
Mataji,
prasadam.
that means that time there
It's
won't
not a
be
question
any
of eating
sin.
some other prasadam. Some other prasadam you're anyway going to eat.
No. I am talking about the Krishna's prasadam. So there won't be.
I'm answering Vindhyamali's comment. And she's saying,
okay,
I eat some other prasadam. I'm saying that is what you will do because you're under the oath, right?
I left guava fruit.
So-
Fruit, Mataji. Here,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna temple. The other day, I bought some fruit pieces, home. I bought the prasad home. It has guava pieces in that. I didn't eat them.
You didn't eat them, right?
No.
Yeah,
I
and
took
that's
some
what- and that's
banana
what-
or something
yeah,
I took from there.
Exactly. And that's what I'm just saying. What if it had only guavas? What would you do?
No, I will say namaskar. That
Yeah,
Hare
namaskar.
Krishna.
And that's what I'm just saying.
Just
that
pardon me.
we need to understand that as you progress in devotional service, right? As you progress in devotional service, then you reach a level. And I'm going to tell you the story I've told so many times here. One day, Kṛṣṇa had headache in his head.
Oh, yeah. Gopis gave there.
Yeah. Then the story is meant for our lives also. Gopis, but to that extent, they love Kṛṣṇa that all that they're seeing is that Kṛṣṇa is having headache. It doesn't matter if I break my vow, but if it's going to please Kṛṣṇa,
Yeah,
I
that
will do
serious thing. I will. Krishna himself
aim
did
for that. That's what I'm saying. If you start feeling happy about the fact, that's what he's saying. I'm the penance of the penance, those who do the penance. That's what he's saying, that you should do your penance. He will give you that power, right? And at a certain level of stage, he will also give you the intelligence on whether you should really desist from it or not desist from it. Right? It's a very high principle.
I think.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I really like when Krishna says, declare that my devotee never perishes. He said this because he says, I keep breaking the vows because in the the war also he said, I will not use any weapon. And then he picked up the wheel and did
he
it.
broke his penance. Exactly. Yeah.
He broke his for his devotees, he will do anything.
Right, for his devotees. And that's what I'm saying, that for Kṛṣṇa, they will do it. So these gopis were willing to do it for Kṛṣṇa. So because with these austerities that we do, there is a aham that comes into it. I am great. You know what? I don't take oranges like that. And nobody can tempt me to oranges. But remember who can tempt us? Krishna can do that, right? So we always have to keep that in mind. Kṛṣṇa is the greatest, right? I am his servant. That mood should be there, that if Kṛṣṇa wants me to do it, I will do it. Arjuna was speaking one chapter worth of topics why he should not fight the war, right?
Yeah.
Same Arjuna goes and fights the war, exactly opposite thing he does, right? So when we talk about the willpower, right? I have this willpower. I will not do this. I have this willpower. I will get up. So when we start saying, I have this willpower, I have this willpower, I have this willpower, it's fanning your ego. I am great. I'm unbeatable. I have this willpower. But if you understand, as he's saying, that Kṛṣṇa is saying that this willpower comes from Kṛṣṇa. To understand that even this willpower that I have comes from Kṛṣṇa. So I don't have any willpower, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the play of words. I'm going to power my will from Kṛṣṇa. My will needs some power because it's dilly-dallying. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that.
He will also test Mataji sometimes.
Right. So as long as you have that faith in Kṛṣṇa, that this power is also coming from Kṛṣṇa. So my will gets its power, the battery, the electrical energy for the will to sustain comes from Kṛṣṇa. If you have that mood, then you will be able to sustain it. Otherwise, you have noticed that, right? Some of the greatest people who are very good at certain things, they break their vows, they break their things. Why? Because that pride comes in the way. When pride comes, then we have a serious problem. And so this whole chapter is telling you that all these wonderful things that happen. I mean, okay, I can understand the light of the sun. I'm not the sun, so big deal. Yeah, light of the sun is great. Like that I can see. But when it comes to my own things, right? And what did we see last time? Today we are saying tapasviṣu, those who are doing tapasya, right? So I'm that. And last time, what did we say? Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasisuryo.
Pranava sarvedeshu
Shabda ke Parusham Rishu, right? Parusham Rishu was the ability to do things, come of the men, right? Men means, in general, human beings. So the capability to do certain things in a certain way comes from Kṛṣṇa. And I told you the story of how Arjuna lost the war when Kṛṣṇa left the planet. Arjuna was defeated by mere cowherd people. The same Gandiva, he could not lift his Gandiva and protect the wives of Kṛṣṇa after Kṛṣṇa left, right? So we have to keep that in mind. And that is the essence of this whole chapter, to inculcate humility in us, that whatever gifts I have, big or small, I should be thankful and grateful to Kṛṣṇa. And whatever gifts Kṛṣṇa has given to others, I should be appreciative instead of being envious.
Yes.
Right? That is the life of a true devotee. Okay? So on that note, we will call it a day here.
Thank you,
One small question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the difference between austerity and penance?
Sometimes they use the term interchangeably, right? But there is a big difference actually between them. In both of the cases, in austerity as well as in penances, in both of cases, you're doing something different and difficult, right? You're doing that, but in the first one, when there is a penance, right? In penance, you're doing it because of some mistake that you have done, and now you're undergoing this penance as a punishment for that. And that
shall we call it? Right?
Yeah. That is prāyashchit. Yeah. And that prāyashchit can come in various ways, right? Like, for example, I'll say, okay, now I will give up something to eat. Who did that prāyashchit? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, right? His father brought mangoes. And what did he do? He just took the mangoes and ate it. And then his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, said, oh, I had brought these mangoes for Kṛṣṇa and you ate them before I offered the mangoes to him. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, I will not eat mangoes for the rest of my life. That was the penance he was doing because of one mistake that he did. So people can do this kind of penance also they can do, right? Other penances which pinches even more than not eating mangoes is having to give your money. Don't take my money. Okay, I won't eat mangoes. Like that. So sometimes people will say, okay, what did I do? Oh, I was driving very fast. So what happened? Oh, a cow came in front of my car. And what's about the cow? Well, the cow is dead now.
Oh.
So then what do you do? So they'll say, okay, now get a cow made from silver and you donate that cow. So that pinches, right? Oh my God, how big a cow? Well, the priest is going to tell you how big the cow should be depending on how big your pocket is, right? It's a tiny cow or a big cow.
That's true.
Like that. And that is going to pinch. So that pinch. And that is why the fines are imposed, right? If you park your car in the wrong place and you are imposed a fine on that, what is that fine about? The fine is so that you pinch. That will be your penance for doing a wrong act. That is parking in a place where you were not supposed to park. Right? So, and it's a very interesting thing in law. And when my daughter was doing law, she was telling me about that. She said that the punishment should be such that the person who is being awarded that punishment should feel the pinch of it.
Yeah.
Right? For example, Larry Ellison, okay, who ran Oracle, the company where I worked. So he had a private plane, and he lives close to where I live, relatively close. And so he would bring his plane, private plane, and he had to land it in a city close by. And that city had rules that after 10 o'clock, you cannot land. And Larry Ellison would say, no, but I will land. And so he would bring his plane, and then he'll bring it and land. And so now the people in the control towers cannot do like kill an insane person. So they would open the runaways and let him land. And then after that, there would be a fine of thousands of dollars. Now, Ellison happily paid the thousands of dollar fine, and then he would land again.
Yeah.
Right? So the punishments would be such that it pinches. So if the fine, so one of the methods, one of the thoughts in the law school was that you should be awarded a punishment according to your capability so that it pinches. And in this chapter, when we were reading the Purport, Prabhupada was talking about not in this chapter, not in this one, but Srimad Bhagavatam, 331.1, where it's talking about how a human being is born. They were talking about somebody living in a raw rev hell. The different kinds of hellish planets are there where you undergo different kinds of penances depending on what you have done in real life. So that there is a regret that is there in your psyche, so that I don't want to do it again. You also hear of a very famous story in the Mahabharata, right? Where 4 people joined together to kill. There's a Brahmana, there was a Kshatriya, there was a Vaishya, there was a Shudra. And then it was like, what punishment should you mete out to them? And Duryodhana goes and says, well, they killed him, so they should also be killed, tit for tat. That was his law and justice, right? Then they bring him Yudhishthir. What does Yudhishthir say? Yudhishthir had a different punishment for each one of them. For each one of them. For Kshatriya, he was a protector. When you're a protector, how can you kill? The Shudra is a servant dependent on others to guide. Like that, right? To the Brahmanas, he said you can't kill a Brahmana. So there was a different punishment. So what I'm saying is that punishments are also, penances are also meted out and are undergone in a different manner. And that Manu Samhita from Manu, his Manu Samhita talks about all this, right? What one should be given, what one should be not given. But I kind of forgot the topic.
I need the
austerity and penance.
Austerity and penance, yeah. So Tapaś, sleeping time?
Yes, Mataji.
Is sleeping time?
No.
I won't sleep till 12 o'clock.
So Mataji, I need the permission to leave. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji, you have my permission. Please leave. I should also be getting going.
Have
It's
nice
Thank you.
bon
okay,
voyage.
Bon
voyage.
Yeah, Vindhyavali Mataji, why don't you memorize chapter 7, okay? Till 12 o'clock. No, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Whole
Try-
chapter, Mataji.
Yeah, try every day, right?
I will try.
Yeah, try every day. You'll get it.
I have 1 week now.
It's Kartik.
But the only thing is I'm not able to. Kṛṣṇa gives me forgetfulness, Mataji.
That is there. And he gives you
That's
memory
where I'm
also.
stuck, Mataji.
He gives you remembrance also, Mataji.
Remembrance is there,
Thank you.
forgetfulness also is giving.
Thank you there. Thank you.
But I will see. I will try.
That's what
I'll
it
tell
is.
Kṛṣṇa that give me intelligence.
There you go. That's how it is.
Remembrance. That's what Komala Mataji said.
Okay, class, remind me to ask her next week.
Okay, yeah, we
I'll
will.
forget. Krishna's going to give me forgetfulness. So
Yeah,
then
you all forget about what Shraddha Mataji told me.
No,
Is it
we won't
Mataji?
forget.
Mataji, I sent you the message for the recitation class.
What?
Yes? You have seen also.
All right, you guys have sorted out. I'm leaving.
I thought everybody
Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Gaur Premanande Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Shraddha Mataji.
Thank you, Shraddha.